Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah, the most significant treaty between Muslims and Mushriks, especially Makkan people, that is known as Hudaybiyah Treaty or Agreement of Treaty. It was done in 6 years of Hijrah, since Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his Sahaba left to Makkah for the pilgrimage, especially the Umrah. But the situation was not favorable to Muslims because after these Badr, Uhud, and Khandaq battles, they got so furious and so confused also, especially these Makkan people, the Qurayshi leaders. So these Qurayshi peoples confronted Muslims 3 times in these battles, and now they have to face. They are coming to Makkah for doing Umrah. Then this Hudaybiyah treaty happened, and this Hudaybiyah treaty in history not only gave Muslims courage to go ahead with the mission, Islamic propagation, but it also tested their courages with faith in Islam and their submission to Islam. Prophet Muhammad had a dream about doing tawaf in Kaaba, and Prophet Muhammad said to all Sahaba, they were so enthusiastic, encouraged by this, and Prophet Muhammad gathered his followers. They were started to go to Makkah for Kaaba. In 628, Prophet Muhammad and group of 1,400 Muslims, especially 1,400 Muslims, they marched peacefully towards Makkah for this Umrah. At that time they were dressed as pilgrims, means the Hajis, and they brought with them the animals also, their sacrificial animals, hoping that Quraysh would honor the Arabian custom. At that time, whoever comes to the Makkah for doing tawaf, especially the Hajj or Umrah, they used to respect them. They did not make any trouble for these pilgrims. So Muslims also expected same respect from Qurayshi people at that time. But this is why Muslims left Medina in the state of Ihram, with Ihram dress code. And uh, these uh, Prophet Muhammad and his Sahaba, they thought that we are doing a peaceful pilgrimage, peaceful Umrah, with hoping that Quraysh, the leaders of Makkah, they will respect their actions because in the name that was the custom of Arabian at that time. And this 628, especially the after 6 Hijrah, Prophet Muhammad and his Sahaba, they went to Makkah for this intention, and for that they took 7 camels with them for sacrifice. 7 camels, and but the Makkan people, especially Qurayshi people, they got confused at that time. They thought uh, the intention of Muslims is not good. They thought like that, and sorry, these Makkan people, they were alarmed by the huge Muslim presence. So the Qurayshi leaders decided not to allow them from entering the city, the Makkan city, and they sent Khalid ibn Walid, who was at that time a mushrik. He was not a Muslim at that time. After this incident, he became Muslims. That's another significant historical moment. At that time, Khalid ibn Walid was not a Muslim. He was. Then these Makkan Qurayshi leaders, they sent Khalid ibn Walid with 200 fighters to stop them from entering the Meccan city, Meccan area. Then Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam changed the route of Tanim. That's the name of Tanim, and to avoid confrontation, and came to lesser known place that called Hudaybiyah, in the western edge of the city. And Prophet Muhammad and Sahaba camped outside the Makkah, that place. And there Prophet Muhammad met the Meccan agents, Meccan emissaries who wished to prevent pilgrims' entry to Makkah. These people, they sent Urwa bin Masud. He was an agent of Qurayshi people. He came to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then he became highly impressed with the scenes of Prophet Muhammad and the Sahaba's love towards him. And Urwa said to the Meccan people later that I have visited royal courts of Persians, Romans, and Ethiopian kingdoms, Abyssinian kingdoms, but I have never seen this kind of respect and highly esteem as the followers Prophet Muhammad they have managed towards Prophet Muhammad. This type of devotions or this type of respects or submission or surrender to the Prophet Muhammad, he have never seen in his life. That was the comment of Urwa bin Masud. He was the agent of Makkah. And this is why he said that to the leaders of Quraysh, they have come only for the worship, for the pilgrimage. Let them enter the holy city. He recommended that. But these Meccan leaders, they were so staunch against him. They were so stubborn. They prevented Prophet Muhammad to enter the Meccan city. So this is why Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he sent Usman radiallahu anhu as an agent, as a messenger to the Meccan people. But these Qurayshi leaders detained him and spread the rumor to upset Muslims that Usman radiallahu anhu was killed. That was a huge mistake from these Meccan people. This created a huge challenge for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And at that time they were coming to Makkah for a Umrah, so they did not carry that much weapons, arms with them, because it was their intention was only to do Umrah. So Prophet Muhammad still, even that, despite of this lackness of arms and weapons, Prophet Muhammad summoned all his followers to prepare a fight unto the death. And people, they were so ready, especially the Sahaba, they were so ready to do an oath of allegiance, the bay'ah, on his hands of Prophet Muhammad. So these 1,400 volunteers, means the Sahaba, they were ready to fight for the vengeance, in the name of Usman radiallahu anhu. So this broke their morale. So the Meccan people got to know that Prophet Muhammad and his Sahaba is ready to fight. So this is why this situation broke the Meccan people's morals, and they agreed to discuss with the terms, to discuss the terms of peace with Prophet Muhammad. So they release after this incident, after this bay'ah. This bay'ah is known as Bayatul Ridwan. That's the place of they were staying. So this bay'ah becomes very history, Bayatul Ridwan. After this incident, Mushriks, the Meccan leaders, they released Usman radiallahu anhu and sent Suhail ibn Amr al-Thaqafi. This Suhail ibn Amr was famous orator, famous negotiator at the time of Prophet Muhammad from the side of Quraysh at that time. And after this, Suhail also in the later period he became Muslims in the later period, but at that time he was a mushrik. He was a messenger of Meccan people, and Suhail ibn Amr al-Thaqafi came to Prophet Muhammad and discussed the terms of peace with him. and they, there were some main points of treaties. After having a long discussion between these both parties, they came into the terms. At that time there was another incident happens. When Ali radiallahu anhu was writing this agreement, he started to write from Muhammad bin Abdullah Rasulullah. He started to like that messenger of God. Then the Suhail bin Amr and Makkan people said, if we recognized that Muhammad is a messenger of God, this problem would have been there. We don't have to fight. So just remove that title Muhammad Rasulullah. So Prophet Muhammad compromised that, and he is said to commanded Ali radiallahu anhu to remove Rasulullah. He just said and commanded to write just Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the leader of Medina. And after this incident, the treaties were like this. The main clause of this treaties was, first one is, Prophet Muhammad will have to return to Medina instead of having entrance Makkah this year. They have to return to Medina. They have no right. They have no right to enter Makkah this time. And Muslims shall perform their Umrah or whatever their Hajj or this Umrah pilgrimage on coming year, and they would stay in peace at Makkah for 3 days with no arms except sheathed swords, because all Arabs, they used to wear hold their one swords. They can keep that, but with except that they cannot keep any other weapons with them in the coming time. And another one, there will be the second treaty clause. There will be a truce between both parties for 10 years. For 10 years, whereby during this period all people may enjoy safety and harmony. That was the second clause. Third one, whoever wishes to enter into covenant with the Prophet Muhammad will be allowed to do so. If any tribes, any groups in the neighboring area, they are ready to come to with the treaty with Prophet Muhammad or the Qurayshi tribes, they are okay, they are permitted to do that. That was the another treaty. And another one, likewise, any sort of exaggeration on them will be considered as exaggeration against the party. If any party attack any tribe who are allied with this another tribe, it became the direct attack to this both group. So from if anyone attack any another party, then this treaty will be broken. That was the treaty. And the most crucial, pivotal, significant clause was that 1 minute. Most significant clause was that if any uh, whoever comes to Prophet Muhammad from Makkah, fleeing away without having permission from his guardians, will be sent back to the Quraysh. But whoever comes to the Quraysh from Muslims will not be sent back to the Muslims. This was the last important clause of this treaty. It means if a Muslim from Medina, he goes to Makkah, then he will not be returned to Medina. If a Muslim from Makkah, he is fleeing from Makkah from the torture of Meccan people to the Medina, then he has to be sent back to Makkah. That was the significant, important treaty, clause of treaty at that time. So after this treaty, there was something happened that some of Sahaba, especially Umar radiallahu anhu, he became very furious, and he discussed with Prophet Muhammad that how is it's not justice. What will happen if a Muslim flees from Makkah and he comes to Medina? How can we give him back? But Prophet Muhammad told Hazrat Umar just to be patient. What was the significance of this Hudaybiyah treaty? Prophet Muhammad SAW showed extreme patience by accepting all these terms as dictated. And the treaty is, as I said before, it's known as Treaty of Hudaybiyah, and it was one of the most outstanding events that happened in Islamic history and it becomes the biggest turning point for early Muslim society at that time. You know, some people, especially some Sahaba like Hazrat Umar, they thought that it is based on this Hudaybiyah treaty is based on injustice, but Prophet Muhammad corrected them. And later on period, it shows that far-sightedness of Prophet Muhammad. What was the result from this Hudaybiyah treaty? The first one was the Meccan people recognized the leadership of Prophet Muhammad. And second one was they recognized the leadership, the position of Islamic State under Prophet Muhammad at that time, and they stopped their hostile approach, or their cruelty or attempts to attack Prophet Muhammad and Muslims after this Hudaybiyah treaty. And the treaty also allowed Muslims who were still Makkah to practice Islam. Some Muslims, they were still in Makkah. They could not go to Medina because of the treaty. But at the same time, these Muslims started to preach among these Meccan people. So, because of this treaty also, Islam began to spread across Meccan people. And uh, the treaty terminated hostile behavior of Quraysh against Muslims, and now they could move freely and talk openly about Islam because of this treaty. and and after that, many people, they became Muslims, and because there were many Muslims against Meccan people, they could not go to Medina, and they started to preach. Because of this preaching, many mushriks became Muslims because of this situation of the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. And Muslims were equally allowed to make alliance with other tribes also. In the same period, Muslims made, especially Prophet Muhammad, made many treaties with the neighboring tribes. So, as we discussed before, there were many tribes. They were rushed to Islam. They were ready to accept Islam's hegemony, the leadership of Prophet Muhammad at that time after this Hudaybiyah treaty. And these 10 years armistice, the truce with Quraysh, provided a unique opportunity to preach Islam and deal with the rivals in other parts of the peninsula. So the threat of Quraysh, the threat of Meccan attacks finished after this Hudaybiyah Sandhi. So Prophet Muhammad could concentrate other part of the Arabian Peninsula at that time. And especially after this incident, Prophet Muhammad could capture the Khyber mountain from the Jewish tribes. And Prophet Muhammad, regarding the performing Umrah the next year, Muslims received a written guarantee to perform it next year peacefully. So they could come the next year to do perform very peacefully. And the treaty also served an example that Islam was not merely spread with the sword, and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ could attack this Makkah with an army, but he preferred this a treaty. So, because of this treaty, the capture of Makkah, the Fatah Makkah, became so easy for Prophet Muhammad. And in this occasion, the Inna Fatahna Laka Fatahan Mubina, that the surah revealed. And the people realized the eventual triumph, the success of Islam after this Treaty of Hudaybiyah. They entered to Islam in thousands numbers. And in the next year, Prophet Muhammad went to Makkah to perform Umrah with 2,000 pilgrims, with 2,000 Sahaba. You know, the last year they were only 1,400. Now this year, Prophet Muhammad went to Makkah to do to increasing number of Prophet Muhammad Sahaba after this Hudaybiyah treaty. You know, there were other some incidents also happened in this time, and when Prophet Muhammad, after the discussion of this treaty, he wanted to sacrifice the animals, but the Sahaba, they were not happy with this treaty. So Prophet Muhammad became so sad and he went to the tent. Then his wife, Ummul Mu'minin Salama, she recommended that please sacrifice the animal and shave your head. So Prophet Muhammad discussed with his wife in the crucial point of the time, at the time of after this Hudaybiyah treaty, and he listened to his wife and he did as Salama radiallahu anha recommend to him. So then after witnessing these incidents, all Sahaba followed Prophet Muhammad and they sacrificed their animals and shaved their head. That was the very interesting events at the time of after this Hudaybiyah treaty. And there was another significant incident happened when the Suhail ibn Amr, he was with Prophet Muhammad, they were signing the treaty. Then Abu Jandal, who was the son of Suhail ibn Amr, he came by fleeing to Medina, this area. And then by seeing his son, Suhail ibn Amr said to Prophet Muhammad, you just signed the agreement. Then you have to give him back to me. Me means he was fleeing from the torturing of Makkah. Now, after the signing of agreement, the Suhail ibn Amr said to Prophet Muhammad just to give him back. Then Prophet Muhammad said to Abu Jandal that just to go back and be patient, the success will be ours. Then he had to go back with his father, Suhail ibn Amr. Another incident also happened. You know, another Muslim, his name is Utbah, but his nickname is Abu Basir. Abu Basir also, he fled from Makkah and he used to hide in the Red Sea coast of this Meccan territory. And Abu Jandal also, Abu Jandal and other some Muslims also escaped from Meccan capture and they went to this Abu Basir's Sahabi and they became one battalions and they used to attack Meccan caravan. So Prophet Muhammad, these Meccan peoples, Meccan leaders got furious and confused and got frustrated also. They went to Prophet Muhammad discuss to withdraw them, to command them to come to Medina. That was another failure in the perspective of Meccan people, but it was a success of Prophet Muhammad. So Prophet Muhammad wrote a letter to Abu Basir to come to Medina. Then at that time he was on a deathbed and he died there, and his maqbara is there at the place, and all others in the leadership of Abu Jandal came to Medina. They became the first Mujahideen group. You know, they were not in Meccan place, they were not in Medinan people, they were in between these place. So Abu Sufyan or other leaders, they could not prevent them to attack Meccan caravans. And Prophet Muhammad was not any authority over these people because they were not in Medinan area. This is why Abu Sufyan or other leaders went to Prophet Muhammad to discuss, to withdraw, to command them to come to Medina. That was another incident in the time of after this Hudaybiyah treaty. And this Hudaybiyah treaty proved to be in the rear a prelude to the Fatah Makkah. As per agreement, there was another incident also happened in after this Treaty of Hudaybiyah. As per the agreement, Banu Bakr tribe, sorry, Banu Bakr tribe joined Al Qurayshi group, and Banu Qaza, that was another tribe, they were entered into alliance with the Prophet Muhammad. And these both tribe has a long history of hostility, enmity between them. After 20 months, Banu Bakr attacked Banu Qaza, and they killed many person and their chief Naufal. So the Quraysh also supported this Banu Bakr. These incidents was a betrayal from the agreement of Hudaybiyah treaty. So Prophet Muhammad got furious, and to cordon the situation, soften the situation. Abu Sufyan also came to Medina to meet to discuss with Prophet Muhammad, but Prophet Muhammad refused to discuss about this is agreement. Then the the agreement became broken. Then Prophet Muhammad uh, sent a word to Quraysh, pay ransom for the prisoners killed, or terminate your alliance with Banu Bakr, or treat the Hudaybiyah treaty as abrogated. Then Quraysh arrogantly replied that they shall never pay ransoms or terminate our alliance with Banu Bakr, but ready to abrogate treaty with you. They are ready to break the treaty with Prophet Muhammad, but they were not ready to break their alliance with Banu Bakr, or they were not ready to pay ransom for these shuhada. Then Prophet Muhammad was prepared to Fatah Makkah, and Muslims, all Muslims in the Hijri, 8th Hijri, Muslims and other tribes, or all other tribes, they went to Makkah and captured Makkah at that time. And these all incidents, these all incidents happened in the name of Hudaybiyah Treaty. So it became victorious for Muslims. It became a failure for Quraysh. So all the Muslims, including Hazrat Umar, they got to know the farsightedness of Prophet Muhammad in engaging or dealing with the treaty with enemies. That was the huge success. After this incidents, after this incidents, there were many Meccan leaders. They got converted into Islam. They became Muslims, like Abu Sufyan, Khalid ibn Walid, and Amr ibn As, and Ikrimat ibn Abi Jahl, Utbat ibn Abi Lahab, Safwan ibn Umayyah, and Ka'b ibn Zuhair, Suhail ibn Amr, and Hakim ibn Hizam, the Wahshi means who killed Hazrat Hamza in the battle of Uhud, and the Hind also, the wife of Abu Sufyan. They became Muslims after this Hudaybiyah treaty, and practically there remained no enemy in Makkah against Muslims, and all Makkah leadership accepted the leadership of Prophet Muhammad at that time. And these all incidents uh, was were the result of Hudaybiyah treaty between Prophet Muhammad and Meccan people. Thank you.